Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this past week's trades and the weekly recap. Before I get into the recap, if you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in my bio section of social media accounts. Also, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. I did finish the week with, let's see, 22 wins, 3 losses for a win rate of 88% again, which I think I did the same thing last week. Just double check. I think that I had the exact same wins in 22, 3. Yeah, I did. Bizarre. It's kind of freaky. Anyways, so yeah, definitely a good week. Got over the 85%. That's my weekly goal, 85%. So getting over that is definitely a big plus. So trade ideas room on Monday the 7th. I said SPY calls over 379. 379 level is right here, pre-market high. It dropped down, and I didn't even pull up my Twitter page. I'm so far out of whack today. I just SPY has been TOS has been messing up all day long. I had to reboot the computer just to get it to finally load, so kind of off my game a little bit, so bear with me. I took puts. I took SPX 3750 puts at 936. It did not break the level of 379. So when it got below this pre-market low rate here of 377, that's where I ended up grabbing puts. I didn't even wait the first 10 minutes. I just grabbed it. Get a head and shoulders. You get the left, you get the head, and the right shoulder right here. And the neckline was at 377 level. So when it broke below that, I got the 3750 puts at 730, and they went from 730 to 920. And I got puts again at 948, which is right here. So I grabbed it from here to here, and when it bounced back up, I reloaded. Same ones, 3750 puts at 740 this time, and they went from 740 to 940 right there. So got a nice little clean play right there. Then when it bounced back up, I reloaded, thinking that we were going to still continue with the head and shoulders pattern and go at least down to 375, but it didn't. It went to 200 EMA and it bounced off that, so it is what it is. Then I bought calls at let me just make sure my mic is working. Okay, I bought calls at 10:15, which is right here. Right here. As you can see, it dropped back down. We caught obviously the downside, but it came back up to this 378 level. That's where I grabbed calls. I switched to the other side, thinking, okay, SPY just doesn't want to drop. It's just going to get ridiculous. So I bought calls. I bought the 3,800 calls at $8. They went from $8 to $9.90 in that little pop right there. Then it stayed within a range. It didn't. I mean, it broke high of day just by like maybe a couple pennies. Then it just got rejected harsh. So then I ended up just waiting out. I grabbed calls at, let's see, 12, 13. Didn't bother playing this or playing that. I thought about it right here. It had a nice little ascending triangle. I thought it was going to break. I thought about grabbing calls right here, but I'm glad I didn't because it ended up being a fake out. But I did end up grabbing calls at 12, 13, which is right here. Right through VWAP. Now, the reason I grabbed it here is I was thinking, first of all, it's going to stay within a range because it's been rejecting high a day and it didn't break low a day. So when it came back up, let me just blow it up a little more. So when it came down to 200 EMA and it bounced off that, and we got over the 376.80, well, we'll say 376.75 area, that's where I grabbed calls. I grabbed the 37.85 calls at 720, and they went from 720 to $8. Then I waited until, let's see, 157, which is right here. I didn't grab it here. I probably should have, but I'm also playing my challenge account and my IRA account, so unless you're a premium member, you're not going to see those. So, but I probably did play that. I'm not sure. I'd have to look, but I'm not going to go over that. The next play was 157, which is right here. This time I'm thinking, okay, this is attempt number 5. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is number 5. The more it tests an area, the more it's likely to break. This is the 5th test. Still making higher lows, even though it's kind of like 376. Yeah, this is still a higher low. Even if it's like 20 cents or 15 cents, it's still a higher low regardless, and it's making an ascending triangle. So being the 5th touch in an ascending triangle, I'll take it every time. 37.90 calls at 510, and they went from 510 to 1980 if he held all the way through. So went flawless on Monday, so 5-0. That was definitely a good plus. Now on the 8th, trade ideas room on the 8th. Tesla calls over 198. SPY calls over 382. Now the reason I'm looking at calls at this point in time is because the put to call ratio is very, very high. A lot of people are on the put side. When you have too many people on one side, you expect the opposite to happen. The herd mentality. That's why 90% of the traders fail, because everyone is in all the herds together. They're all trading together. They're all seeing something. So sometimes when you look at something and it's so obvious, it almost seems like a sure thing. I don't expect it to be, because that's just the way trading is. You get these sleazeball market makers that see what you see. They know what you know. When obviously you know what they know because they wrote the book. And so they like to pull these traps and these fake outs and try to make as many people wrong as they can. And that's why when you see everybody too bullish, that's when they do a rug pull. When you see too many people bearish, they do a short squeeze. So everybody at this point in time was on the put side. The put to call ratio was way too high. I was expecting a short squeeze all week, and we got it. So that's why I was looking at more at calls and puts, even though I played a lot of puts here and there. But I don't like to chase massive runs, even if there's a short squeeze potentially in progress, but it is what it is. So anyways, I took 38.30 calls at 954, which is right here. Got this knife at the opening candle. Then it's bounced back up the higher day. This is where I grabbed it. I grabbed the 38.30 calls at 740, and they went from 740 to 12.30. Then I grabbed puts at 10.36. Which is right here. Now, I'm not quite sure why I grabbed it right there. I'm looking at the hourly right now. What day is this? The 8th? The 8th, which is right here. Right around, what level was this? At 383. Where is 383? Okay, I can see why I grabbed it here. You get some resistance right here. This is a pivot right here, 383. Actually, that's more 384. But right here, you can see, yeah, you get a pivot right here, 384, which is more defined because it's support, resistance, resistance. But there is a smaller one right in here at 383. You can see it rejected right here. I rejected right here. Rejected here, and it bounced here. So yeah, you can see the 383 level being kind of important. I just jumped in the middle in front of the truck and I got run over. So I had the 38.25 puts at 710, and I stopped out at 3. So it is what it is. Then I took puts again at 1205, which is right here. Now I waited for the green candle. Red candle. What I've been doing lately is when you have these massive runs, I've been waiting for a red candle, and then when the red candle forms on a 10-minute chart, I will take the next red candle or low of the previous candle. So in this case, which I didn't take it here, I'm just using this as a hypothetical. We get the red candle right here after a strong run up. So I would take puts once it hits the bottom of this wick right here, which is 382.70. So I would have taken puts right there and got that move right there. But it wouldn't have been much of a move. But if you're at the money playing SPX, that would have been at least a $1.50 move right there. So if you're playing 10 contracts, $1.50, that's $1,500 right there. And then most people don't make $1,500 in a day, especially in a couple minutes. So most people don't even make $1,500 a week, let alone a day. So anyways, we got the red candle here. I didn't touch it here. I waited until what time? 12:05, which was this candle right here. Now I see why I grabbed it here. You get this candle here, and you get these two smaller candles, and you get the bottom right around 384.30. When it broke below the 384.30, that's where I grabbed the puts. I grabbed the 38.50 puts at $9, and they went from $9 to $10.50. $1.50 move, no problem. Then I waited, and I grabbed puts again at 104, which is right here, right when it broke below these candles again. But this time I used the I think I might have used the same 384.30 level, or if I didn't, I used the 384.10 level right there. Either or would have been good. Probably this would have been a better level right here, 384.10. I don't like to use the I like to round at least to the 10 or 5s. I don't like using 12s. But anyways, I did grab the 38.50 puts at $7.80 this time, and news dropped, and they went from $7.80 to $33 if you held all the way through. I'm not sure what the news was. I don't remember. But then the last play of the day was yeah, it looks like I got it in this candle. I got it at 120. Yeah, so I got it right here when it broke below the 384. That's where I got it right here. This candle, not this one. I didn't get it up here or here. But, I mean, I could have, and it would have still been a good play. But, yeah, I grabbed it right here, right below the 384 level. Then the last play of the day, I grabbed 38.15 calls at 210, which is right here. I grabbed it off the lower day. Bounce lower day, 200 EMAs right there. So I was thinking, okay, we get these massive long red harsh rejection candles or news candles, and we got the lower day. That's where I grabbed the calls of 38.15 calls of 790, and they went from 790 to 1075. So definitely a good play on that. And I didn't play any more on the main account. I probably did play some of my my IRA and stuff like that. So that's why you need to be a premium member. You see those IRA plays, because I've been building 2 IRA accounts at the same time. So, but anyways, let's see. The 9th, which is Wednesday, traded his room. SPY calls over 381. Still thinking calls, because we haven't really had much of a short squeeze. Because we were down what is Monday right here? Yeah, put to call ratio is pretty high, 376. So yeah, we got almost a $10 move, but I was thinking we'd get a bigger move than that. But sometimes when you get short squeezes or rug pulls, you don't know if it's going to be 5 points, 10 points, or 20 points, or even 50 points. You just it is what it is. So I was still thinking that. In fact, I think it was still high at this time. I have to actually look. Let me see. Trying to look at the put to call ratio on a daily. See what it was on Wednesday. Of course, it's lagging like everything else. Wednesday's the 9th, right? Okay, if I remember correctly, yeah, the 7th was. The 8th was 1.3. The 9th was still almost 1. So yeah, it was still fairly high. It was still pretty high. So that's why I was still looking at calls. So what did I say on the 9th? SPY calls over 381, which is right here, this lower high. I didn't break it. I grabbed calls at 945. It dropped. Then when it came back out over a higher day, that's where I grabbed it. I grabbed the 38.30 calls at 810. I could have sold the green. I didn't. I was expecting a bigger move. Then it dumped. Then it came back up. When it came back up, I did average down. I added more at 650, making my new average 730. And they went from 730 to 1130. Didn't even need to average down, but I did anyways. So definitely got a $4 move out of that play right there. So. I try, lately I've been averaging down like at near lower day, but lately I've been kind of like waiting, like if I didn't sell it here and it came back down, instead of me averaging down here, because I don't know how far it will drop unless there's like a really significant area that I may want to add. But this early in the day, We haven't had much of a range yet, so I mean this could have dumped down to 375 no problem, and I didn't want to average down. I waited, but once it got back over the 380 level, that's where I did add, because it was safer to add at this particular time, at this point in the day. Like I said, you're still half an hour in the day. There's lots of day left. You don't know if SPY is going to pop $10 or drop $10 or just be a range day. It's too early to tell. So trying to add at lower day is too risky at this early in the day. So that's why I waited right here to add, and it ended up being a good play. But then I ended up adding again at 10:14, which was right here, I think, on the pullback. I did grab 38.40 calls at 690 on the pullback. Then it ended up going against me, so I added more at 11.10, which is down here. No, right here. 11.10 is where I added, right here. And I added more at 250, make my new average 360. And it popped a little bit, and it just theta just ate it. I don't remember what it was, how high I went. I don't think it even got to 360. I don't remember. It was too far out of the money. But anyways, I did grab calls at 11:43, which is right here. It popped up, pulled back, and right when it pushed through VWAP, that's where I grabbed 38.10 calls at 920, and they went from 920 to 13.10. So I decided I was still going with my thesis, but I just got closer to at the money calls, and it ended up playing out much better. And then those calls I had before, the 38.40, never even went green. So, but I even said when I posted my stats for the day, I was expecting a short squeeze today, and it just did not happen. So, but I grabbed calls again at 11:43. Wait. Yeah, I already called that one, 11:43. It's 209 where I grabbed the next one. Calls at 209, which is right here. No, right here. Got the strong red candles right here. This one's pretty big. You got this doji candle, then you get this green candle right here. And I took calls on the next high off from this, because you get two small candles right here. So usually when you have these two small candles, I'm looking for a reversal, especially if it's dropping doji candle, then you have a green candle. So I was looking at calls right here, and I took the 37.75 calls at 780, and they went from 780 to 960 in that play right there. So that's why I took it there. Then this monstrous green candle was the CPI news. So I did not want to chase it after this. I mean, you went from 374 opening to 388. That's a $12 move. I am not chasing that. So I grabbed puts at traded is, I'm going to say, on that day. It's 5 puts on the 386, which is right here, this low. It started to come down. I waited for the first 10-minute candle to form, and I did, like I've been saying, got it right below this low. So I grabbed the 38.40 puts at 920, and they went from 920 to $12. Then I grabbed 38.75 puts at 950. I mean at 1031, which is right here. You get the green candle, get the doji, get the couple small smaller candles right here. So when I broke below this 389 level, that's where I grabbed the 38.75 puts at 950, and they went from 950 to 1125. Then I grabbed calls at 1044, which is right here. Right after it dumped and it came back up to high day, that's where I grabbed it, thinking it was going to pop. I mean, it came down to VWAP, pull back enough for my satisfaction. You had a couple consolidation candles, pull back, probably to lure in the shorts, and thinking that we're going to have a massive dump, but it was just a short little play, and it went quickly back up to higher day. So when it dropped and went quickly back up to higher day, that's when I switched sides to 38.20 calls at 780, and then went from 780 to 1160. Then I ended up playing puts at 12.23, which is right here. Same thing, popped up, couple small 10-minute candles right here. I almost grabbed it right here. I didn't. Then we got this candle right here. Right when I didn't grab that candle, I grabbed it in this candle. Right when it got below the 390.80 level, that's where I grabbed the puts. I grabbed the 39.10 puts at 840. and then went from $8.40 to $15 in that push right there. Then I switched to calls at 146, which is right 146 right here. Yeah, right here. Pulled back down to the VWAP, 20 EMA to together, so they're gonna be strong support. Popped up, and when it got, it had this nice green candle. I could have grabbed it right here. I didn't, but we had a couple smaller candles right here, and when it broke out over this 390.75 area, that's where I ended up grabbing the 39.25 calls at $8, and then went from $8 to $9.70 right there. So that ended up being a good play. Then on the 11th, which was Friday, I was thinking we were going to get a pullback because we had such a massive run. Plus, we're inside this hourly channel I have right here. It did come out of it, but I did push to close to 400. But the Trinity is room in the morning. SPY puts under 394.50, which is rate, which was the PDC. I just rounded down to 34.50. So when it broke below that, I grabbed the 39.30 puts at 9:30, at 9:32 a.m. As soon as it broke, I didn't even wait 10 minutes. As soon as it broke that, went red, I grabbed it. And it went from 9:30 to $13 in that play. Then I switched to calls at 10:15, which is right here. You got the drop, quickly came back up. I didn't grab it, pull back. And the reason I didn't grab it because there was consumer sentiment that came out, and this candle was pretty crazy. I almost bought puts right down here. I came so close. I had my finger right on the trigger, and I didn't pull it, thank God. Then after we had the 10 minutes of this craziness subsided, I waited out, and once it got over the 396.25 area, that's where I grabbed the 39.90 calls at 760, and then went from 760 to 11.50 in that push. Then I grabbed puts at 11.10, which is right here. Same thing. You get the strong green candle, get the doji, or actually it's a inverted hammer. Then you get these smaller candles. Well, not small, but get these cluster of candles right here. And once it broke below 396 area and pushed through VWAP, that's where I grabbed the 39.50 puts at 790, and they went from 790. Actually, I got it below VWAP. I got it right down here, it looks like. I got them at 790, and then went from 790 to 1190, so got a $4 move on that. Then I grabbed puts at 1202, which is right here. And the reason I grabbed it here, I could see why I did, but I probably should have waited. You get head and shoulders, you get the left, the head, and the right shoulder. So when it came up the VWAP and it started to pull down, I grabbed it a little prematurely right here, thinking we were going to dump. It didn't. I had the 39.45 puts at 770. It didn't dump. It popped back up. Average more down at 1233, which is right here when you made this popped over VWAP and came back down. That's where I added more at 265, making my average 390, and it just popped and got on the wrong side of that. So stayed out of that. Then I took 4,000 puts at 254, which is right here. And the reason I took it right there is because ES and SPX was at 4,000. And they're going to be that was a huge round number, and I grabbed the 4,000 puts at 680, and they went from 680 to 1960 in that dump right there. So I actually bought it right at the top, and didn't even wait for a red candle. I just grabbed it at 4,000. It's a huge number on SPX. So anytime you have like a 400 or a 39.50. Anytime you have a whole 100 or a 50 round number, they're going to be pretty significant resistance and support areas. So algos are going to react to that, and they sure did. So then it ended up dumping. So, just a short little dump for 20 minutes. But that's the plays for the week. Good week. So hopefully next week will be a good, strong, volatile week like this past week. And the put to call ratio right now is very low, expecting a pullback, but we'll talk about that on the watch list. So that's going to do it for the recap, and I hope this has helped you understand the mindset, what I was doing, and that's going to do it. So thanks for watching.